welcome back to my channel. In this week's video I thought I would quickly film my toy rotation for this week. So to give you a bit of background information, first of all, if you're new, my name is Gemma and I have a 1 month old son, or 22-month-old son called Oscar. And I do a toy rotation around every couple of weeks. I'm not particularly strict on it, I just wait to see once the toys start to go stale, as in, like, I know if when we clean up at the end of the day, if it's really easy to clean up, then we need to do a toy rotation. So if everything's kind of still left on the shelf, that's the time to do a toy rotation. If everything is out, then you know you're kind of onto a winner and you don't need to rotate. So the stuff that I have just got rid of and I've replaced has probably been around for about, I'd say 2.5 weeks probably. So I'm rotating it today, so I just thought I'd quickly put a video together about what I'm putting out for Oscar, because I always get DMs from you guys asking, you know, what's Oscar into at the moment, because your children are kind of, you know, there's parallels between them. So I just thought I'd show you what we're putting out, and it turns out in this rotation there's quite a few things I haven't put in videos or new bits that I've bought. So I thought I'd put them in a video today so that you can kind of see you know, what Oscar's into. So to give a bit of background, because I think it's really important that you can't just, you know, watch something in this video and say, oh, you know, my child's going to like the exact same thing, because you need to observe your child, and I've done videos all about the importance of that. So what I've observed from Oscar in the last couple of weeks is that he's really into connecting, which is a schema, and that means that he really enjoys putting things, you know, two things together. So it could be building blocks, you know, building towers, puzzles, stickle bricks, just, you know, connecting things together and then inevitably pulling them apart. So I've tried to incorporate as much of that as possible into our toy rotation. So I've got lots of puzzles, I've got tracks and blocks and things like that. And he's also going through a trajectory schema insofar as he's really enjoying climbing and moving, throwing and rolling balls and things like that. And then there's kind of the common theme as well with Oscar is that he's vehicle obsessed. So he loves anything to do with vehicles. He's also getting into small world play, so animals and people with his vehicles. So that's what I've observed, and so hopefully you can see when I show you what I've put out in my toy rotation this week, why I've kind of put those things out that I have. If you've got any questions, don't forget to head over to my Instagram, because YouTube is still blocking my comments, but head over to Instagram and you can DM me there or send me a comment on my post. And if there's anything in this video that you would like to buy or you're interested in, I will try to put all the links in the description box below. I always do that. I always get lots of messages asking where I got certain things, and as much as possible, if I feature anything, I do try to put it in the description box with a link so that you can very easily find it and then buy it if you want to buy it. So let's get into this week's video, and it is this week's toy rotation. I hope you enjoy it. So if you watched my previous video, you will know that this unit used to be here, and this unit used to be there, and this never used to be here. So there's a good few changes that have happened, and there's some reasons for that. So I've moved this unit to here for now because Oscar is really into his Pikler frame at the moment. So it was just coming out a bit too far, and so we couldn't get past it as easily as having this unit here. So I've just switched them around, and also just moving the furniture around does really help to keep the space nice and fresh. So I will start over here and I'll work my way around. If there's anything that you are interested in, I will put links in the description box below for as many things as I possibly can find, although I'm not always sure where everything comes from. So I'll do the best I can and link it in the description box. Okay, so over in this corner, I've moved the IKEA bookshelf house thing to this side of the room, just to make the other side a bit more spacious. And so the top is just full of our books. He actually has library books that I keep in the living room. I try to keep them separate so I know when I'm going to the library that they're all kind of in the same place. So these are our books, and then he also has a stack of library books. And then down the bottom is a set of flashcards in a zippy wallet. I don't use these to like make him say the words. I think that's, you know, you don't need to do that for kids. He actually likes to come over and look at the pictures. Like he'll find the owl and then he'll go over to like his soft toy thing if there's one that matches, and he'll pick out the owl and kind of match it himself. He's kind of created that all by himself. And there's like whale and there's other things other than animals in there. So it's more kind of just linking on with kind of reading, that it's, you know, pictures, and he kind of does his own thing with those. I don't tend to do anything planned. And then in here is our way to play road track. So he can't put this together right now. It's actually a little bit tricky for kind of small hands to place together because it's rubber, which it needs to be so that it's kind of weatherproof. But yeah, he needs me to help, but he'll come and bring that over to me and we'll just make it up. So that's out there. And this is obviously a permanent feature, that's his chalkboard, so that's all still the same. And then over here on our little shoe rack, so many people ask me where this is from. I'm so glad I bought it at the time because it's beautiful, and I've never found, you know, I've looked hundreds of times to try and find one for people that looks the same. It's a shoe rack and I got it from Jisk, which is like an IKEA kind of style store, kind of Scandi store. I can't find one anywhere similar, but if you know one that's similar, please let me know so I can link it for people. But yeah, so it's wood and this is like metal trays. It's really handy because they're solid, unlike most kind of shoe racks. Anyway, down here is just a basket of balls. Here is, these are like boxes and he can stack them or whatever. He actually really loves having this plant here, and it's fake. He often just takes it out and puts it back in, and it's really nice to touch, but it is not real. And then over here I just have an old cutlery tray that's kind of like a tinker tray, so it's just got little bits in it. I have some shells. These are the Grappat rings. I just have some rocks. These are real rocks, not like bought rocks. And then I have some of these like little wooden people in there. And then underneath is a few baskets full of the IKEA kind of food, and then just a spare bowl in case he wants to transport any of these things up here and needs something to do it. So that's those. Here we have our Fagus wooden rubbish truck, which is absolutely beautiful. You would have seen that on my videos before. And then over here we have our Raduga Grez building blocks, which we absolutely love. I really actually like them having them here. Quite like that space, and I've actually rearranged the wall, you'll notice. So I've just brought the mirror down for now. So these things are kind of all interchangeable. This picture is now on this wall, and these things just up here for now. They used to be down lower, but he's really getting into looking at himself. He has his mirror upstairs, and oh, that's my lovely feet in the mirror. And so I just thought I'd bring the mirror down so that he can really see himself. So it's really, really low. And then he can kind of build blocks in front of it, whatever. And then here I have my unit that has completely been reworked for this toy rotation. Everything was getting really stale, so I've just changed it all up. So on the top is some fake grass, and I've kind of split up my rainbow. That's a really good tip. If you invest in a Grimm's rainbow and you find that your children don't use it as much as you would hope, split it up and use it for different things. Show them how they can, you know, use it. So I've kind of done this kind of small world scene with the animals and my little wooden family, and it's kind of like houses. And then I've picked just the two biggest parts and put them down here because he loves like rocking on these like a horse. You will have seen he did that before in a video. I think I caught that. And he puts like cars in here and rocks them and uses them as bridges. But I feel like when the rainbow is all together, it doesn't get used as much. So that's a good tip, if I don't say so myself. In here is musical instruments. I do like to keep these out all the time, but I do switch it up. So they used to be over on the shoe rack, and now I have them here in a basket, and all of a sudden they're being played with more. Down here I've created a little water scene. He's got really into kind of animals that swim ever since we've done our swimming lessons. They actually have a fish tank at our swimming pool. We go to a hotel, so they have a really lovely swimming pool with a fish tank. So he's much more aware of animals that swim. So I've kind of cracked these out, and he's starting to learn the names of these. He knows crab now, and whale and shark. So yeah, I've just created a little small world scene there with water. Here we have the shape sorter. Always really useful to have it in a tray so that if they want to like do this activity, they can pull the tray off. This is very Montessori kind of style, that they can pull it off, set it down somewhere and do it, and then kind of place it back, so it's much easier for them. And then down the bottom here, this is just a basket full of cars and tractors. This one is his train track set, and his trains fit on this. And if, I know a lot of you always ask me about these cars, and if you've gone and bought them, they actually fit on like your average wooden railway track. So that's great. I love it for that. So you can have it like a racetrack or a train track. In here is our bristle blocks or stickle bricks. He loves these. That's right at his level because they kind of stick together. And then down here, actually, he's already started to piece this together, is the Plan Toys rocket. So I'll just take that apart so you can do it. Always leave things, you know, undone so it can be done as an activity. And then we have these low shelves over here finally. So up there is the last bits of the rainbow I haven't used. You can reach those, but I doubt he'll probably go for them because the rest is already out. Down here we have an egg carton and some pom-poms. He actually bought me this the other day. This was in his like little bag of recycling stuff that I've got together for craft. And he bought me this and was saying, egg, egg, egg. Now I don't have any like wooden eggs or anything, which I would like, but I don't have any. So I just cracked out these big pom-poms, and he spent time placing them in and taking them out, so he kind of created that activity himself. In here I've just got some wooden balls. He actually uses these on our Pikler frame. They go along here nicely, and he rolls them down the slide as well. So, but I'm not exclusively telling him he can only do that with them, so they're kind of just here. He has his lacing cheese, which every time I put it out in rotation, it always gets a new lease of life. So that's back out. This he managed to reach. It was up on the shelf and he wanted to play with this, so I've brought it down again. It's just our trip trap track, and there's the little cars to go with it. So this puzzle he has had for a long time, and he finds that fairly easy now to do, but still loves doing it. You'll see a theme with our puzzles that they are all construction related. So he uses these pieces to actually go into the puzzle, but then he also like kind of drives these around the place as well. So it's still being used, so I still keep it out. And then I've upped the game a little bit with these puzzles. I really love these. I searched for ages to try to find vehicle related simple puzzles because we've got animal ones, so I wanted something different. So our animal ones are 2-piece, and these come in a set of 2 4-piece, and there's 2 8-piece. Now the 8-piece are too hard at the moment, so I've put those away because he was getting really frustrated and he needed too much of my help. So I don't want to teach him that I do it better than him. So I want him to get the confidence. So this is like a little yellow digger, 4 pieces, and then this is a red tractor. This one's actually easier because it kind of fits together kind of like vertically. So he finds this one easier, like this. Whereas this one's a bit more tricky because it's like 4 pieces of a pie style. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense? It's like this instead. So that's more tricky for him than kind of building it like along the way. This one's much easier. So there's a bit of challenge there, but I've noticed he's had this puzzle for about a week, and at the start he needed a lot more of my support to help him, and now he definitely can do this one on his own. And the yellow one, he just needs maybe a little bit of help with a piece or two to kind of get it going. And then a new addition to our playroom. We had the Wobbel Board before, I think, when I did my video. Yes, I think we did. And now we have a Pikler frame. So Pikler frame is basically a triangular climbing frame for indoors. I did a lot of research and I wanted one that would last a long time. So this one is, I think it's called a modifiable Pikler Triangle, basically because it can make different shapes rather than just being the triangular shape. So we have it currently in this kind of M shape, which Oscar really loves because it's more like an obstacle course. So I've put the wobble board in as well, so you can climb, climb, climb. Then it has a slide. One side has these battens across, so he can kind of climb up it, and you can turn it over and it's just flat, so you can have it as a slide. He's only just started to love climbing up it, so that's why it's that way, but he'll actually tell me to turn it over if he wants it turned over. You can also have it as a triangle. You can also have it as a house shape, which is great for den building. You can have it like a slope. You can have it up like that and then have the 3 other pieces sloped down like that. It's got loads of potential basically. So he is loving this, and I think it was a bit of an investment. Like, it's not a cheap piece, but like I feel like he's going to get a lot of use out of it. And if we're lucky enough to have another child, it'd be really handy for a small child who's just kind of learning to pull themselves up and walk along. They're definitely going to get the use out of this. And from the people that I know that have Pikler frames, they say that, you know, their children are like 8 and 9 still using it. So I'm hoping we get the use out of it. So that is what we have in the middle of the room.